Ladies and gentlemen, if you are hearing my voice, it is because you are now tuned in to the Boss Up with Jarvis Sam. I am your host, Jarvis Sam. And that means that you have subscribed to this podcast on Apple or Patreon. And first of all, I just want to thank you so much for your support. This started off as the Jarvis Sam show from last year. And um, it was one of those things that I always wanted to do, which was a podcast, but I also have like this side of me that wants to inspire and inform and just give away some game and whatnot. So we're here. This podcast is uh, brought to you by the Jarvis Sam Show. This is a spinoff of the Jarvis Sam Show, for lack of a better term, but it's more branded to one thing. This podcast is going to help you boss up in every area of your life, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's leadership, whether it is your personal, like whatever you need to boss up in, there's going to be something here for you every time we release a boss up episode. So this is the first episode. I'm extremely excited to be here. We this is it. You know, this is what we've been talking up. This is what I've been alluding to on the Jarvis Sam Show. If you're I'm assuming you probably listen to the Jarvis Sam Show if you're here. So this is what we've been talking about, and yeah, I'm really excited. So the first episode, I have several episodes already laid out. I've really thought this one through, and um, really want to just provide value. Like I truly want you to take something away from each episode of the Boss Up and use it to boss up yourself, right? Um, a lot of us are boss in our own rights, but there's always another level we can take it to. I truly believe, in being a student of the game. I truly believe in continuing to want to grow and expand and just learning more. And I'm always out there trying to seek knowledge. Sometimes it's some of the same minutia that I've already heard or whatnot. But man, if you can, when you can find some knowledge that makes sense and that you can apply, it's like gold. So I truly hope that you stay plugged in. And again, thank you for your support. I'm going to work my hardest to provide maximum value and whatnot. So thank you so much. This week's episode is called Relationship Goals. So when we hear relationship goals, the first thing we see is, somebody's corny video or post on Instagram or social media with their significant other, and they're all sappy and everything, and that's cool. Nah, I'm not talking about those kind of relationship goals. I'm talking about professional relationships. It's one of those things that I did not truly see the value in building effective relationships until just a few years ago, to be honest with you. And so if I had that issue, I know that issue exists, and I know that it's something that if done correctly can really be a catalyst in your professional journey. So again, like I said, it's something that I struggle with. It's something that I'm an introvert at heart. So like it takes me a minute to kind of warm up to people, especially in some professional settings, because you got to kind of weed through I'm always trying to weed through the fake people and the snakes and that kind of thing. And I value, so like for me, it was like I always valued having relationships with people, but it was like the ones that I wanted to, and I always kept it really close knit. Like I almost looked at it like it has to be like this work friendship or something, and that's not what effective relationships are. what we have to think about when it comes to relationships, we have to think about relationships as resources. We shouldn't think about relationships through the lens of friendships. It needs to be looked at as a resource. Every time you can make a connection, you could be leveraging them somehow as a resource that can help push you further or help you with something that they're good at that maybe you're not so good at, and you can leverage them and save yourself some time, save yourself some energy. But it goes with having that proper resource. So I worked for a company for about 12 years, and just based on pure longevity, like obviously you're gonna, connect with some people. And, when I think about my time there, I was very effective with that company. And a lot of it was because I had resources, right? Like I knew people at headquarters, I knew people at different branches and whatnot. And I could, it was easy to make things happen, especially when you're given a stretch assignment and you're having to leverage, different people to do different things. When you kind of have a network that makes sense and a network that you can kind of, go through the Rolodex and make some phone calls, it makes it a lot easier to do those things and to stay connected. Um, and the other piece of it is when you have relationships with people, it makes it easier for those people to be receptive to you, and to more eager to help you out. When you don't, when you're coming in, cold turkey and trying to get something or trying to work something out with someone, and it's your first encounter, they're like, whoa, like they're leery of you. But if you've already kind of built a rapport with somebody, you know, it's a lot more natural and it's a lot easier to work towards whatever goal you're trying to get to. Again, it doesn't mean that you're going to have to you're going to lunch with this person, or you hang out with them and their kids at the pool, on the weekends. No, that's not what it's about. It's again, it's about building a rapport with somebody and having that connection and leveraging them because they are a resource. The best resource that any company has is its people, it's human capital, right? It's human resources that, for lack of a better term, the human resources is the biggest resource that any company has, which is why companies have HR departments, because we have to make sure our human resources are protected and are treated the right way, because really and truly humans is what make things run. So you may ask, well, how do I build effective relationships? So one of the first things I think that you have to do to build relationships is add value to others. Um, so you can't, build a relationship right away asking for something. And when I talk about adding value, you can do it in one of two ways. You can use your expertise, your knowledge to help them do something that they may need some help with, just lending that helping hand. The other thing you can do, and I think this is one of the most important things, is to make emotional deposits into their emotional bank account with you. So, and that could also be done through adding value. But again, just being of service to that person is one of the best ways to build that relationship and that rapport. So when we talk about an emotional bank account, you got to put something in and able before you can withdraw, right? So let's say you bail some a coworker out of a situation, and you have essentially put a deposit into that emotional bank account. Now, don't be, don't spend it soon as you know, tuck it away, let it build, and then when you really need it, you can make a withdrawal, and that person is going to be way more open to that withdrawal because they're going to feel indebted. Like they'll feel innately indebted that, hey man, this guy has kind of come through for me a couple times, in the clutch. So this one time he needs something, I need to pull up. And that's how you keep it going. Now, on the flip side of that, some people will do you wrong, and you will um, deposit into that bank account. When it's time to withdraw, they're gonna ghost you. You gotta understand that. But that can't stop you from building relationships because you want to be successful. So a person like that, they're essentially burning a bridge. And I got an episode on burning bridges coming soon. So check out the burning bridges episode that's going to be coming soon. But right now we set with these relationship goals, and so a person that's just a taker, they're burning that bridge with you, and now, oh, I can't do business with them because they don't do business fairly. And what I don't, to me, it's all about being authentic as well. So don't just do something to get something. Just make it a part of who you are. Hey, I'm going to lead with value. I'm going to lead with service. I'm going to be servicing. That way, when the people that just take all the deposits and don't and don't make any deposits themselves, you can kind of weed those out, and you know that those people aren't meant to be in your network and can't um probably won't be a great resource for you anyway. So just go ahead and leave them alone. Um, so those are the two things I think that you add value, and you make those emotional deposits. Maintaining relationships is huge because it needs to kind of still be that you still got to kind of keep that barter system going on to where you're exchanging thoughts and exchanging information, or exchanging your services and for theirs, or you got to kind of keep that going. But another thing you can do as you continue to build that rapport, a good acquaintance of mine that I just know from social media. He runs a Facebook group called Lead with Integrity, and he was actually on an episode of the Jarvis Sam Show this past year. And when he was on the show, he talked about how he connected with his team, and it resonated with me so much because it's a lot of the things that I do, but he defined it so beautifully. He said he called it Ford. So the F stands for family, the O stands for obstacles, the R stands for recreation, D stand for dreams. So he connects with his team on those four things every time he sees them. So those are the four things that people care about the most. So they care about their family. They want to know that you care about what obstacles they're facing. They love their, people love their free time. So what they do on their recreational time is very important to them, whether they fish or golf or watch basketball or whatever they do. And if you can connect to that, they can really appreciate it. And then people's dreams, like if you can kind of check in with people on those things and show that you kind of care, like it bridges that relationship and makes it just a more solid bond. And again, when you need them, they're going to come through for you because you've shown that you care, and just showing that you care about people can go such a long way. Again, it doesn't mean that they got to be your bosom buddy, but as humans, as professionals, like there's as we're human, like we need to feel connected, and we need to feel that people care about our situation. So genuinely care for people, and it'll pay dividends in your relationships. And relationships are important at every level. It's not just peer to peer, but you need to have great relationships with your leadership, whoever is your supervisor or what have you, there needs to be a solid relationship there. If you have people that report to you, like there needs to be a great relationship there as well, because relationships are two-way streets, and people want to be treated well, and when people feel that they're treated well and people know that their relationship with you is solid, they'll go 10 times harder for you. I have in my career built very strong relationships with people, and it breeds loyalty. I've had people that have, I've left a job, and I've had people that want to come work for me at the other job, and I hire them because we had a great relationship, a great rapport, and I know it's somebody that I can trust, and I know that it's somebody that I can depend on, and I know that they will value um, what I bring to the table, and I know that I value what they bring to the table. So again, it's not just about where you're at. Like sometimes those relationships can parlay into something for your future. Maybe somebody can remember, oh man, I remember when I worked with such and such, he was great at this. Let me see if he wants to do this. And man, lo and behold, you were just thinking about how you can get out of this situation. And because you had a solid relationship at during this phase, it's gonna offer you another opportunity over here. So don't be short-sighted with what relationships can do. Relationships can be so powerful, and relationships are just the foundation, because at the end of the day, the heart and soul of a company is its people, and the more effective relationships we can have, I believe, the more productive we can be, and the more valuable we can all be to whatever company or entity or whatever we are um, at, and trying to move things forward and trying to build a career for ourselves. Like it's just so much that relationships can do. So do not undermine how valuable a relationship can be. Um, I've looked at times in my career where I worked harder than I should have, and it was times when my relationships weren't as sharp as they should have been. Again, I'm an introvert, so if I don't if the vibe is not right, like I kind of fall back naturally. And I know it's probably difficult for people to fathom that I'm an introvert because I got multiple podcasts. I do a job where I have to work with people all the time and whatnot. But I look at that as, hey, I'm on stage. When I'm on stage, I'm gonna put on the show. I'm gonna be, I know how to perform on stage, right? So, um, but yeah, like I'm naturally an introvert, so like I don't always take the initiative to build those relationships, and really, if you're the one that needs the relationships, you have to go out and get them. Uh, and it's just a reality, man. Like people, we can be objective and all that, but at the end of the day, people work for people, and people want to work with people that they like. So the more likable you are, I mean, you can have all the skill in the world, but if there's somebody that that you vibe with and can get the job done, they have a fair shot at getting that job too, just because of that relationship and that rapport. So, I believe your resume can get you in the door, but those relationships, man, are solid, man. Relationships can a relationship can help you jump over somebody with way more education and experience if your relationship is solid. I remember I was interviewing for a job, and it would have been an internal promotion, but the I was more qualified. I had a proven track record. I killed the interview, but I didn't get the job because the gentleman who got the job had slightly better relationships with the people who were hiring, and it was almost a foregone conclusion that he was going to get the job just based on relationship. The crazy part about it is about 6 months into him doing the job, he realized he couldn't do it, and then they came calling me. But again, he got the job based on relationships. Had he had the skill set and everything to match, like, hey, he would have thrived at it, right? And again, on paper, I was the better candidate. Um, I know I killed the interview, right? I it was all these things, but he had one thing on me that I didn't have, and that was the rapport and the relationship with those people. So while I had to play the waiting game, and it honestly kind of pissed me off because um, all of my time and effort and everything I had done to get to that point all went away because I hadn't built an effective relationship with those that were in authority to get that position. And when I really think about that, it's really disrespectful, but it's also a lesson. It's a lesson that um, relationships are very important because people work for and with people, and without that relationship piece, it's I think when you look at the pie, like if you look at it as a pie chart and you say experience and um, leadership, relationship, I think relationship takes up half of a pie, and then everything else is the other half of that pie because it's so vital to that because and it's also like people would rather trust someone that they know than someone that they don't know. Like it's almost like, man, I don't know what I'm getting with this guy. Like, yeah, I see he's got the credentials, but can I trust him? What is he about? I don't really know him. So it kind of goes back to the I'd rather work with the devil I know than the devil I don't know mentality. So do not, if there's one takeaway from this, go build some effective relationships out here. Again, they're not friendships, they're resources. Relationships are resources. So thank you for joining the first episode of The Boss Up. This is The Boss Up with Jarvis Sam. Thank you so much for joining. There's no ads and all that in this one because no, I don't need T-Mobile and them telling you about their 5G and all that on here because you were responsible and you subscribe to this podcast the right way. And I appreciate your support. This is just the first episode. The content is going to continue to grow um, and build, and it's going to be some really good stuff. So thank you so much for subscribing. I will see y'all next time on The Boss Up. Thank you.